The 66th World RX event in the 6th season of the championship. It could only be hell. But forget about bad omens. If you're Norwegian, this is Rallycross heaven.
Hello and welcome to day number 2 here of round 5 of the FIA World Rallycross Championships, and we're coming to you live from hell in Norway. It's an absolutely beautiful day. The sun is beating down here. It's hot. The track is looking absolutely superb. Of course, this is one of the iconic rallycross tracks, and I'm here pre-grid at the moment. You can see the RX2 cars are just beginning to make their way over here for the first of the Q3 races coming up for you very shortly. Now, of course, this round 5, we're well into the season now. Let's take a look at where we've been and where we are going next. Of course, we started in Abu Dhabi, then we had Catalonia, we had Spa, and of course Silverstone, and here we are now in Norway with Sweden coming up next. And you can see up on the hill here, just flashes of sky blue, of course. Bakkerud blue for Andreas Bakkerud, home boy favourite. 13 second places he's had so far in the World Rallycross season. Can he get that all-important win today? He was the first driver in history to get a clean sweep at this track in 2016, and his last win came in that same season as well. So he certainly has work to do after yesterday, as we saw Niklas Gronholm back from an appendicitis 6 weeks out, 6 weeks and 2 World Rallycross Championship rounds missed. He had to sit on the sidelines. He's back though, and back at the top as well, as Gronholm RX took a 1-2. Let's take a look now. If you missed all the action yesterday, we have got you sorted. Sit back, relax and enjoy the highlights from a chaotic Q1 and Q2 yesterday.
As Saturday got underway, the Bakkerud Blues were expecting big things from their man. The first race of qualifying saw very clever tactics from Timo Scheider. In a 3-car race, he forced everyone into the Joker on lap 1, gave himself the whole shot, and from then would hold on for the win. Race 2, Timosjanov and Liam Doran into the Joker lap together. Doran tried to go around the outside in spectacular fashion, but it didn't quite pay off, with the Russian getting in front. Bakkerud pushed really hard, and come the merge, he just had enough. A win at home for the Norwegian. The returning Niklas Gronholm got the whole shot in his race after a little contact with Szabo, who chose to Joker. The Finn was setting fast laps with a brilliant drive. Kevin Abbring doing well just behind. Gronholm stopped the clock's fastest so far. The final race of Q1, and Baumanis had contact with Hansen on the run to the first corner, the Latvian taking out Guillaume de Ridder. De Ridder would go no further. Baumanis tried but didn't make the finish. Hansen lost nearly 4 seconds avoiding de Ridder's car, leaving Gronholm to win Q1. On to Q2, Yannis Baumanis needing a good result after that dreadful first session. Got the whole shot and would hold the lead until the flag, setting a great time. Race 2, on the inside, Cyril Raymond getting a fantastic start and taking the standard lap. Szabo winning the race to the Joker. Raymond was untroubled out front, responded on the very next lap with his own Joker and took the win. The start of race 3 saw Anton Markland and Kevin Hansen come together in the Joker, with Markland getting the position. Liam Doran was chasing Bachuska. He got inside at the Joker with a little bit of contact, and a few moments later Bachuska retired. Out front, Scheider jokered late with great tactics again and took another win. He was fastest so far in Q2. The final race of day 1, and we ride on board with Andreas Bakkerud behind Q1 winner Gronholm. Timosjanov goes Joker, splitting the strategy for GRX. Gronholm hammered in the lap so that when he took his Joker, he was clearly in front. Timosjanov nicking a spot from Hansen too. Gronholm making an incredible comeback to World RX, winning both Q1 and Q2, and with that claims the overnight TQ.
I'm trying to do my best in every qualification, and then yeah, like I said earlier, in the semi and the final anything can happen. So yeah, we just need to keep our heads down and keep working and to try to maintain this speed.
A perfect performance from Gronholm then to top the table after day one with a lead over his teammate Timo Timosjanov. Then it's Scheider, Baccarat at home in Norway, Timmy Hansen, Markland, Kevin Hansen, Cyril Raymond. But from 9th to 16th, the points gap is tiny, and the final places in the semis are anyone's.
So a brilliant day yesterday then for Gronholm, Timosjanov and Scheider. Baccarat, as I said, with work to do if he wants to get that all-important win here on home soil in Norway. We also have, of course, RX2 and Euro RX, all of the qualifying action in 3 and 4 to bring you. And I now would like to say a very good morning, a very warm hello to our commentators Andrew Coley and Dan Rook.
Thanks, Laura, very much. Yeah, good morning to everyone at home. It is hot here. It's going to be 5 degrees hotter in hell than it was yesterday. It's going to be pretty warm up here, but it's going to be very hot out on the track. Really, really looking forward to today. Dan, dominant performance from Gronholm yesterday.
Yeah, fantastic to see him going out there and putting in the work he did, especially after 6 weeks away with an illness. So what a fantastic return.
Yeah, brilliant stuff by Niklas Gronholm. Not very quick in warm-up this morning. We're just checking whether or not he's had an issue, and we'll let you know when we do. Right, let's take a look at the track. We're about to get racing underway. So Norway, hell, 6 years the World Rallycross Championship has been coming. Here you can see that with the Joker lap, it's 1,119 metres long. It's 63% asphalt, 37% dirt. It's a clockwise track with a turn 1 Joker. And it is a real roller coaster of a place. Dan, there are blind corners here. You've got to get the exit speeds right for uphill, downhill. It's a mad place. You said it was very hard.
Yeah, extremely hard. The elevation changes are so extreme and the TV just doesn't do it justice. It's a real challenge for these guys.
Well, looking forward to this, so let's head down to the grid and we'll go racing. Cars on the line already. 4 cars in this first encounter of the day. It's Peter Leerhol on the inside. He was pretty quick yesterday. Simon Olofsson, Anders Mitchelak and Albert Levera. Peter Leerhol is in P10 at the minute. Where's Olofsson? Olofsson is... And where is Olofsson? Olofsson is 8th. Olofsson is 8th. Mitchelak is in 12th. And Levera is down in 14th. Remember, top 12 go through. Last time there were only 11, I think, so everybody made it. This time, 2 people are going to miss out. We've got a couple of extra drivers, a couple of locals, including, of course, Petter Leerhol, Norwegian driver racing at home. First race of the day. Let's see if it is as spectacular as yesterday's first race was. Olofsson with a bit of contact into Leerhol on the way to turn 1. That's pretty unnecessary, in my opinion, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to lean on him to put the pressure on him, and as we see Olofsson slowing in the background there, so maybe he caused himself some damage just by trying to unsettle Leerhol.
I think as well, but it was his front right, wasn't it, into Leerhol's rear left? Like, Leerhol's won the start and he's inside him. There are times when you think, why have you done that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. He may have been trying to tuck him behind and just not quite able to nip himself in, but there's a few reasons why you do make the small bits of contact, and a lot of it I think is psychological.
Front corner hanging off the car, early doors. Look at that stunning view down from this brilliant track up at the top of the mountain. It's a quarry that the track is built in, and it's still a working quarry. Oh, a bit wide there for Petter Leerhol. So he goes Joker. Was it Levera, sorry?
Albert Levera and the Joker.
Levera, my bad. Looking out the window instead of the pictures. Terrible four-man group. That's Levera into. We've got Leerhol leading from Olofsson. But yeah, vehicle testing venue, which is why you see the roads in the background there, which we're not using. And if you weren't with us yesterday, we had pretty similar weather. It was temperatures yesterday were lower than this in the middle of the afternoon. So already 2 degrees hotter in the morning than we were mid-afternoon. Dan, what sort of difference will that make to the track? Do you really feel that as a driver?
I mean, a couple of degrees, maybe not. But the main thing is going to be the heat in the cars, because having that added temperature whilst you're trying to concentrate and really drive, as hard as you can, it's zapping, and especially because you have to be in and out of the car all day. You're going in a really hot climate and then out of it again, and so on and so forth. So it does get really wearing on the guys through the weekend.
You've got to make sure you keep your fluid intake up, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, on a race weekend, I used to drink, sort of about 5 litres of water, something silly like that. Probably ended up overhydrating myself, but my biggest fear was to end up being dehydrated. So these guys, I'm sure, will be doing the same.
Dehydration, at the moment you're thirsty. If you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated, aren't you? By that point, you've already lost some reaction time, as we see our leaders go. Joker, they're going to get outdone by Michalak. Michalak slots out in front of Peter Leerhol. If you're thirsty, you're dehydrated. If dehydrated, your reaction time has already dropped off, hasn't it?
Yeah, so you need to make sure before you even get to that point that you're on top of your game. And I'll wake up in the morning of a race day and immediately sort of drink a litre of water. So just trying to keep on top of everything.
There you go. Dan, of course, was part of the UK's training scheme with our Motorsport UK, which is Motorsport Association in the UK. We're going to see Michalak take this one. Checker flag falls. He takes it from Leerhol. Let's have a look at track pace compared to yesterday. 2:58.4 for Michalak yesterday. Ericsson was doing 2:54s, but I mean a 2:58 would have seen you whereabouts, Dan? About fifth or sixth yesterday. So similar pace at the minute. Obviously we've got some of the faster guys still to come. There is the result. Michalak, Leerhol, Olofsson and Lovera. And we think Laura is hopefully trying to grab hold of Anders Michalak now, so we can hear from Anders about what's a nice clean start to his day, I think.
Anders, a good start to Q3, a good start to the morning here on Sunday in Hell. How's the track feeling first thing?
The track is slippery today and yesterday, and yesterday we had good pace, but not
not enough pace. Bit more pace this morning.
Yes, much more pace, and then we got the victory.
Well done, thank you.
Here's a look back at this one. So this was the contact look with Olofsson. I think maybe Dan's right. He was just trying to slot in behind.
Yeah, and then there is where the big slowing was for Olofsson. I caught it back of shot on the actual race, but big contact, and that was how he damaged his the front of his car. So that didn't do him any favours there.
This was Leerhol and Olofsson going Joker late in the race. You can see Michalak has already got underneath them. And as Michalak with a pretty easy win for the first race of the day. Very different to yesterday with Vasily Gryazin rolling his car out of the turn one. Talking of Vasily Gryazin, he's up in the next one. Final car pulls onto the grid. There he is. So that car was upside down against a wall in what, Dan, fourth gear?
Would have probably been roughly fourth gear, yeah, fourth, fifth gear.
Really got launched, and I think it's lucky that the car wasn't damaged. Managed to finish the race even, which is really unusual. So Walfridsson, Asklund, Trogan, Volders and Gryazin. Good start, Sami Matti. Trogan in the middle of the grid though. Volders straight into his rear quarter. He seems to have lost out now. Contact 2-3 ways. Gryazin round again. Gryazin ends up backwards, and two cars spinning in fact. So Gryazin turned around, is still sitting, you can see at the track exit, turns the car around now. Is he going to go Joker? He doesn't. So he goes standard lap, and
back wheel of Gryazин's car is facing the wrong direction, so he's not going to be, he's pulled off now, we can see from the commentary position.
So yeah, he's gone off, and Asklund has continued. So two drivers with a disastrous start. We'll take a look back at the replays at the end of the race, of course. That leaves Walfridsson and Volders in the clear out front. Dan, much easier Joker tactics for their spotters now.
Yeah, of course, they've got two guys sort of, effectively taken out of the race. And so their only main man they're going to be watching now is Sami Matti Trogan, as Volders has now opted to go for it. As you can see, the gap between the two of them is going to be close at the Joker merge.
So this is tricky because there's actually a waved yellow there, but I think you have to forgive them when they're coming off the Joker, and Volders in fact gets the better of Trogan, so good lap by him, although Trogan I think was involved, wasn't he, in the contact on the run to turn one, maybe had to take avoiding action, so...
Yeah, Trogan getting caught out there, and once again having a grid slot in the middle of the track, and we saw yesterday he got squeezed quite a lot, and it happened again today, so really unfortunate starts for Sami.
Is pole a really big advantage here, do you think? obviously only if you win the start, but is it something you desperately want?
I would have said so, yeah. You're having the inside line for most tracks is an advantage. Of course, this track is quite a long first corner. You do get some other tracks that have maybe a left into a right or something, of which you can then overlap if you're in second place.
Oh yeah, right, left, isn't it? That's one. And interestingly, last weekend at Mid-Ohio for ARX, the first corner was so tight that if you didn't clearly win the start from stop one, you ended up with people getting a faster entry from the outside of the grid. But here it is a long run to turn one, so inside is best.
Yeah, a long run, so a lot of time for them to pick up the momentum and build the gaps between the cars. And but then, of course, the difference you have here is then the Joker on lap one. So then you've got the decision of whether you're going to go to the Joker or not, try and force people in there.
This is what we saw Timo Scheider do yesterday, wasn't it? Forced everyone in. Walfridson's going to come out clearly in front of these guys. We spoke briefly down in the last race about Motorsport UK and the fact that you were on their training scheme. Of course, Sammy Matti Trogan came up through RX Academy. There's a lot of training involved in that. You were in RX2, there's training involved in that. I think people think, it's just driving a car, but there's a huge amount of effort that goes in it, even at all the lower rungs. Say you were involved in the British scheme, and there's similar schemes for the Swedish Motorsport Federation, Norwegian, for kind of drivers who are trying to become pro drivers. Walfridsson going to take it, but
yeah. So driving is a very small part now of being a professional driver. You have to be able to have the business meetings for sponsors, interviews. There's so much to it that you don't really know if you're not really
the fitness, things like we were talking about the hydration. You miss a tiny detail, you miss a tenth of a second, you miss a grid slot, you miss a win. It's the finer detail with everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is Askland coming round to try and finish after the turn one contact. Gryazin unfortunately didn't make it. So Vasily Gryazin was in P13 overnight, and with a DNF in this one, I think he's pretty likely not to make it this weekend. So that's a shame for Vasily. Take a look at where he's in the standings. Walfridsson takes it from Volders Trogan. I was going to say Gryazin with that DNF, but Jimmy Walfridsson has gone quickest. He's half a second quicker than Michalak.
Jimmy, a strong start to the day in the bid to make the semi-finals and, of course, the finals later. How much were you aware of that chaos off the start, and how important is a good launch and Joker tactics on this track?
A good launch is everything. I didn't see or notice any chaos. I just did my race.
And you did your race well. Are you happy with the performance this morning?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Good. Best of luck for Q4. Thank you.
Take another look at this start then. So Gryazin in the red car on the far outside is the guy who loses out the most. Sammy Matti Trogan gets squeezed here. I mean, really, they kind of both move in on Sammy Matti and then both get fired off. So
for me, I think it was more Jimmy Walfridsson was the start of that. He was on the pole, but then moved left to try and cover his line and knocked, all the guys that are to his left into each other.
So they moved across into Sammy Matti, and then Gryazin, unfortunately, where Sammy Matti's got squeezed in between them, gets fired. So, but the way it goes, Vasily Gryazin is P5 in the series at the minute. And he got a third last time out in the UK. He was on the podium, so he's going to be very disappointed with that retirement. Going to hurt his chances of making the semis here in Norway. First two races of the day done. We've got one more left in RX2. I think we've got a bit. Oh yeah, we're waiting for Gryazin's car to be recovered. So he is down in turn two. There it is. Plenty of heavy machinery here. You can see the spotters tower up in the background there. So that's where we are. We're at the far right end of that. There's the Backer Blues. They're on the hill opposite us, so they're up behind the start. 200 of them here this weekend. They're normally in our hotel, but apparently, thanks to a booking complication, they're at somebody else's hotel this weekend. I have to say, it's a bit quieter.
Yeah, it's been lovely, hasn't it?
Not that they aren't lovely. You're all lovely, you Backer of Blues, but yeah, it's we've missed the singing in reception. It's a bit of a shame, but there you go. So Gryazin's car going back up. The cause of that, of course, was the shunt in turn one. Let's take another look at it. So watch Gryazin on the outside, and Dan, talk us through. There's immediately contact there, and Volders loses out. Fine, now we've got four in a line.
Yeah, but you can see there Walfridsson is moving right over and then pushed Askeladd into Sami Matti. Sami Matti started to back himself out of the situation anyway. So they both collected the front of Sami Matti and then went across the front of him. And watch from another angle here, you can see Sami Matti's trying to get out of the way. And then the two other guys just coming across the front of him and making contact. And luckily for Sami Matti there, managing to get out of the way and hopefully be unscathed.
And you could see, though, that was where he lost the time to Volders, wasn't it? We said Volders had got him. Volders is a good peddler, but Sami Matti is, I think, probably next level. It didn't work out for him there. That is a shot of the sheds up at the top. So is that the guys from the FIA up there? I know the local commentator is sometimes up there as well. Say the first year we did TV commentary, we were up there. They had to go and buy a load of carpet to line the inside of the shed with because it was too echoey, which was quite fun. So it was a hot box with a carpet over the roof. I've never been so sweaty in my entire life. Did the same at Hollius the following weekend as well. So Spotters Tower is slightly more breezy. Final race then of RX2 for Q3. Great view from behind the start. You can see where all the spectators are up there. So you've got Ericsson, Gundersen, McConnell, Kallio and Hogland. You can see the cars scrabbling for grip. Everybody, though, keen to give each other just enough space, and you can see the difference. So I think it's Gundersen and Kallio that have gone joker. It is indeed. Oh, up and over the curbs. Hogland went with them too, but it's Gundersen who's won the race out there. So Gundersen, Kallio, Hogland from the joker. On the standard lap, it's Ericsson and McConnell.
Yeah, very sensible start by all of these guys. Of course, a lot of them with, arguably a bit more experience than some of the other guys we've seen go off the line. And with Olsberg's MSE having 3 cars out of the 5 in this race as well, they're able to do a little bit of team orders, tell each other to give them a bit more room, because the thing you don't want is to be wiped out of a qualifying session, because you can end up worse off compared to if you just ended up with a slightly lower, position.
Fraser McConnell following Ollie Ericsson. Fraser learning another new track, and they were all new to you as well the year you did it. Again, that's one of the things that makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does make a big difference. I mean, you can try and play them on dirt rally as much as you can, but then once you get there, it is still a bit different.
A learning curve.
Still learning, but
I spoke to Ollie Bennett yesterday, and he was saying the difference for him is he's thinking about what is he going to do in each corner to make it as perfect as he can do it, whereas last year he was literally thinking, which way does it go?
Yeah.
Which is mad, but that's the reality.
Yeah, it is the reality. It would be a much bigger relief if you can come here knowing where you're going.
We're quite lucky, aren't we, at least with rallycross tracks that are 1.2 kilometres long. It's not like trying to learn a Grand Prix circuit, at least. But there are other things to learn. We've got some people coming across, of course, to rallycross from various disciplines. Last weekend in Mid-Ohio, we had a couple of IndyCar drivers come and try ARX. They were fascinated at the various skill sets needed for the gravel. We've got Kevin Empring here this weekend too. A couple of you pointed out, yes, he did do some rallycross, but that was in a rally sports trainer, which was based on a Ford KA with a space frame chassis, if I remember correctly. So yes, he did. It was a long time ago, and he said to me himself yesterday that he was, it was going to be all new, the tactics side of things. Not new for Oliver Ericsson, and this should be a clear win for him. McConnell, look, who was right behind him, is just going to get up the inside of Kallio. So Fraser McConnell just beats his teammate Kallio. Hogland up behind Gundersen. Sorry, up behind Kallio. Hogland's got up the inside too now. Oh dear, contact again on the way up the hill. So Kallio's been pushed wide into the door. Hogland desperate to hold on to that position. Hogland's got the inside line though. Kallio going to try and get underneath him on the exit. Great bit of racing at the finish here. Ericsson's taking it. Who's going to get it though? Hogland beats Kallio to the line. Moves to plenty on that last lap. Ericsson went faster, 2:54.7. So there's confirmation. Let me give you his times from yesterday. 254.3, 254.3, 254.7. 3 4-lap runs, and it was only 4/10 in it. But he is 4/10 of a second slower than he was yesterday. He won't be disappointed, though, because Ericsson has won all 3 qualifying sessions so far. This time it's Ben-Philip Gundersen, Fraser McConnell, Marcus Hogland are in behind. Jesse Kallio with that battle on the last lap, with Hogland dropping down to 6th. But Ollie Eriksson on for... he was second in the first qualifying session, but he won Q2 yesterday. So that's his second qualifying win of the weekend.
Oliver, another qualifying win for you this weekend. Well done. How was the track feeling this morning? It's hot today, isn't it?
It's hot, so it's a very good grip in the asphalt. Had a good start again, could do my clean race. I saw Ben-Philip went joker or reckless. I knew I had to put the laps down. Gravel is quite rough, so it's a balance between pushing and safing for punctures out there. So yeah, we just gotta keep our head down and keep going.
Thank you, well done.
Thank you.
So this was the start, and Dan, really sensible stuff, the way they all move across the track together.
Yeah, so each car giving each other that little bit of space, but 3 into the joker lap on lap 1, and Jesse Kallio there, I think it was getting a little bit caught out, unfortunate for him, and then Fraser McConnell able to follow his teammate for the whole race. Of course, Fraser learning this track, Oliver knows it very well, so it was a good job for Fraser to be sticking so close to Oliver.
This was the merge, tight up the inside. The difference between Eriksson and McConnell there, you know, it was what, 7-8 car lengths. It's the difference between a nice clean merge with no contact and having to fight for your position. So big old scrap at the end of that one. Here's the standings then at the end of Q3. Oliver Eriksson, having won Q2 and Q3, is currently TQ, 1 session to go. But it's all to play for between him and Gundersen, look, because there's only 5 points in it. So if Gundersen could take the last session, they'd be equal on points, and then Gundersen would get it, as the last session is the one which takes precedence if they're on equal points. Fraser McConnell's been there pretty much all weekend, look, with his scores. Kallio too. Then it's Jimmy Walfredson, Hogland, Leohol, Sami Matti, Trogan. At the minute, Olofsson, Michalak, Volders, Asklund are in. Lovera and Vasily Gryazin would be out. Sensible racing for the guys in race 2, particularly once you get to that last race. They just know not to do anything stupid. All you're going to do is hurt yourself, particularly when they're all at the top of the table, as we've just seen. Yeah,
of course. They've got themselves up into their prime position now, and today, you know, there's lots of, like, you know, there's extra 2 races today if they make it through semis and finals, so they don't want to go all like guns out and try and ruin their hopes at the start of the day. So a sensible Q3 for them was what they needed.
It was like they were on string when they all moved across the grid. You could see they all moved across the same amount. So RS2's done. We're going to head on now to Euro Supercar. Their Q3 is coming up, so I can see some cars on the grid over there. I think we'll take a look. There they are. This first one is a 4-car race. Ales Vucic on the inside, then it's Moser, Steinegel, Jensen, who had contact, I think, both times in turn 1 yesterday, and Ola Christian Temte. Little engine warm-ups going on for Ales Vucic. Of course, they've all done 2 laps this morning in warm-up, but that's not much to get yourself ready for action. Great start on the outside. Ola Christian Temte with a clear start win there. Oh, on the inside, big spin. Oh, don't end up going over the curb sideways. He has, so Ola Christian Temte goes joker on the first lap. But I think, who was it that span to the inside? Was it Moser?
Moser, yeah. So unfortunate start for Moser, and I can see from the commentary position he's just started getting going now. So Moser,
the curbs are massive, Dan. If you do go over those sideways from the back, you stand a big chance of either digging in and rolling or just taking a wheel clean off.
Yeah, they are so lethal. There's no, giving them at all, and going over them sideways like that is, you're going to damage a wheel or rip the tyre off, or even a corner.
Ales Vucic, you can see, has a little bit of damage on the front end of the car again, thanks to, well, maybe from this start, but say yes, and look at that. So Vucic runs really wide. Sorry, Steinegel Jensen with the damage across the front of the car. And yesterday we saw him get collected twice on the run to turn 1. We thought he was going to get a Gryazin, didn't we, in the first race?
Yeah, so twice on 2 wheels on the way down to turn 1 for Jensen, and then again not a clean start this time round. So he's going to be hoping for a better start in Q4, I'm sure.
Yeah, not what you want at all. Around that left on the loose. It's looking, the gravel is looking quite bumpy and loose over that left crest stand compared to yesterday. It cleans a bit, then, you know, they grade it a bit. You were saying last night they put a ton of dust X down as well.
Yeah, so loads of dust X to try and tackle the issue we had yesterday, visibility and things like that. As you can see now, there isn't too much dust kicking up from these guys. I'm sure the dust X is going to wear off through the day, but it's done a good job this morning. And
it kind of binds the dust together, doesn't it? So it's not like flour, but it binds it together, so it's more like sand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's quite like a sticky substance. I think they base it on like tree sap or something like that. So yeah, it kind of sticks the gravel together,
and then it doesn't fly quite so much. So circuits like Montalegre had more of a sandy gravel, didn't they? So although it used to fly, it didn't hang, it would fall, and that's what the Dust X does to our dust here. So Vucic goes into the Joker on the last lap and is absolutely miles in front. Not a bad Joker. So there was a mistake in turn one on one lap there, definitely. But as the first race of Euro RX for Q3, he's going to head the standings at this point. He's currently sitting in 14th. And yesterday, Vucic, you're looking at now, was 14th and 16th, respectively, in his two races. So would love to make it to the semi-finals, but needs a couple of decent results to do so. Round the left, flick it into the right, and then gas up to the line. Little jump at the top of the hill. There we go, checkered flag. So Vucic has done a 2:53.4, which is pretty much what Ericsson was doing in RX2. So that gives you an idea of the class of Ericsson. Vucic's 2:53.4 yesterday would have been good for down at the air about 16th. So very, very similar. Oh dear, look, someone's lost their exhaust. It's the winner's exhaust, apparently. That's the sort of thing that if you're a marshal, you need to be very careful if you go and pick it up. It depends how many laps ago it fell off as to whether or not you want to be wearing gloves. Vucic takes it similar time to yesterday. Steinegel, Jensen, Ola Christian Temte and Attila Moser. I'm not convinced that's going to move him up the standings. He's in 14th at the minute, Ale Vucic, so let's see. I mean, you know, maybe one more qualifying session to go. Might make it through to the semis, and of course we don't know the true track pace yet. It's a win all the same.
A dominant win for you then in his first race of the Euro RX this morning. How was it out there on the track for you?
Sorry, no English, ale chtěl bych poděkovat rodině, celému týmu mechanikům, mojim sponzorům. Jelo se mi báječně, užil jsem si to a doufám, že se nás bude štěstí držet nadále. Děkuju.
Thank you, well done.
Well, unfortunately, my Czech isn't good enough to know exactly what he said, but I heard the word sponsor, so I'm guessing thanking some sponsor. But either way, if you guys are watching at home, hope you enjoyed a little message from your man. Well, one car on the grid ready for the next one. I think it's Mikko Ikonen on the inside. We're going to have a full grid for you in a second. You can see up on the top of the hill there, the Monster Energy rig's got a few people up on top. There's a look back at the previous race. So Vucic on the inside. Bit of contact on the way to turn one. Oh, and that was Moser going round. Did come back up over those curbs. Not ideal. Here it is, boom, gets fired over the inside curve and then actually pretty slow over them, but still, you just don't want to go over them, Dan, do you?
No, not at all, and a bit of an unfortunate start there for him trying to get the squeeze across onto Vucic, but not really realising how much up the inside he was, collecting the wheels. When you touch wheels, it just completely sends you don't really have much control. We saw yesterday with Baumanis what can happen.
Vucic takes that one. But the time is very similar to yesterday. He needs to go a little bit quicker if he wants to make the semis. Oh, Marshall heading out. Oh, is it hot? Is it hot? It is. Brilliant. Mate, good on you. He's going to kick that exhaust all the way to the finish. No, out. Fantastic. Chucks it over with a load more things that look like exhausts, which I suspect are catch threads in that. Is brilliant. Well done to our cameramen and directors for picking up that. That is absolutely fantastic. We said, didn't we? I'm glad he was wearing gloves. My goodness me, you can imagine everyone going, no!
I want to have a bit of a caption competition for that.
Yeah,
one.
That's great, isn't it? We need to get that up on social media ASAP. Right, Mikko Ikonen on the inside, Lucas Walfriton, Mandy August, Mario Barbosa's on the outside, which means that Hans-Joran Ostreng is missing from this one. Don't know why. Where was Ostreng yesterday? Ostreng was P13 actually, so that's disappointing because he was right on the cusp, which might mean that Alex Vucic, who we saw just a minute ago, could make it. So Barbosa gets a good start on the outside, going to move across. Is he going to go Joker? He does. Mario Barbosa goes Joker with Mandy August. And on the inside, we've got Ikonen leading from Walfridsson. Oh, a little bit of contact on the exit, guys. How did they manage that, Dan?
I mean, I think Mandy August just tried to shut the door and just didn't really, you know, think that Barbosa was so close and just shut the door on him.
I mean, she's got to do it, and she did brilliantly yesterday. She won one of her qualifying races yesterday. She made the semis at Silverstone, doing fantastically well in a supercar. But on that occasion, Barbosa had nowhere to go. He can't disappear into the wall, and consequently the contact between them ended with a spin. So there we go. Ikonen leading from Walfridsson. Walfridsson goes Joker, but to me, needed to make that decision earlier, Dan.
Yeah, and he was lucky that the guys on lap 1 had the coming together, because then they lost time. So it means Walfridsson could get in and out and not have any worry about the traffic coming behind him.
If he feels he's fast enough compared to Ikonen, he'll take a half-second loss on the way in, won't he, to gain a second a lap in terms, or whatever he can do in terms of clear air.
Yeah, so I'm sure he's going to be feeling like he's faster, so he can really lay the laps down. Who's that there? That's
Barbosa.
Barbosa, so
Portuguese flag on his belt. That's Dan Rook's old car there, so he's not going to be too happy.
Oh, poor old wagon.
Did it have a name?
No, but if you drove it, you were nicknamed Bert.
Okay, so that's why Backerud's nicknamed Bert as well.
Bert Backerud, yeah.
Right, so anybody who drove that car was Bert. So
yeah.
Bert Backerud. And really, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Bert Rook and then Bert Heathcote.
Yeah.
There we go. If you're not clear on that, the car was driven to the British Championship by Dan Rook and by Nathan Heathcote. Prior to that, it was used by Andreas Backerud to win 2 rounds in 2013. He won at Hollius and France, threw all his clothes into the crowd at Hollius. Then got told off by his mum because he didn't have any other race boots. And now it's being driven by Bert Barbosa or Mario Barbosa. I don't know if Mario is aware of the nickname thing. Right now, I don't think he cares because he's parked in a gravel trap at turn 2 and he's probably livid. But Ikonen has 1 lap to go. You might see Barbosa in the gravel trap at turn 2 here as we come down. He's just parked on the right of the shot now. There goes Walfridsson. You're not going to see it from there, so he's just in the gravel at the side of the road. So that's a bit of a shame, bit of damage for him, and we'll have a short clear up after this one, I'm sure. Ikonen aiming for 2:53.4. There he is. Mario Barbosa, or Bert Barbosa as he's known now.
Giving Mandy a round of applause there, so not too happy for him, I don't think.
No. Not at all. Up to the finish comes Ikonen, going to take this one easily. Look, going to go 3 or 4 seconds faster. Back 5.1 faster, so Ikonen with a 2:53.4. There is Barbosa, not happy.
Poor old Bert.
Yeah, poor old Bert. We need to go and explain to him, Danny. Up for going and explaining to him why his nickname is Bert. So DNS for Ostreng, DNF for Barbosa after contact with Mandy August on the run out of turn 1. Ikonen and Walfridsson finishing within a second of each other pretty much. So those two go to the top of the table, and we've got another 2 races for Euro to come. So at the minute, Mikko Ikonen leads with a 2:48.2.
Really well executed drive there. Do you think it's enough to improve on P11?
Hopefully so. I'm not too happy about the speed during this weekend, and we have been struggling some issues, and it has been a difficult track to learn, but the hit win is always good, but I think we need to improve the speed a lot more from here. So we will see how it goes, but hopefully we will get a little bit better place to start the semi-final, because I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that all-important P12 for the semi-finals. Good luck for that, thank you.
So Ikonen was 11th coming into this one. He's on the inside on the run to the start. So watch the outside. So Barbosa and Mandy August go in. Mandy August here is actually pretty sensible look. And yeah, it's really so. Barbosa gets a bit of, I don't know what to think about that really, Dan. You know, I think Mandy was in front, so she's kind of entitled to move across, but then Barbosa has absolutely nowhere to go, so there's nothing he can do to avoid her either.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just sort of got hooked up on the way out of the Joker lap there and not able to untangle ourselves. You can see Mandy was steering away from him, but it didn't make any odds.
No, exactly. Once you're into the wall and he can't go and she's into the side of him, there's nothing they can do about it. Eekinen and Walfridson continuing round on their own, and a good time for them. Always tricky when that happens. You know, you're kind of tangled up. It's not up to us to kind of apportion blame. We try, but only from an analysis point of view. It's much harder if the stewards have to get involved. Oh, here we go. So 2 sticks in the end of the exhaust, carrying it up. It looks like no, don't. Oh, has he got gloves on? Yeah. Oh, he's going for both sides. Look.
It's like a hog roast.
Good lad, and it's he from the team. I reckon he's from the team. He is. They're just saying we've stuck a stick in each end. Don't lick it. It's really hot. Has he got gloves on or not? I can't quite tell.
Yeah, I think he does.
He does, yeah.
Some black gloves.
I thought it might be mechanic hands there. Just dirty hands. They're saying right, you need to go up here, turn left into the paddock, or is she just saying we've? She might just be saying there we go. Yes, I've got it. I've got the exhaust. He'll get a round of applause from the crowd, absolutely. There's no question about that. He's got to climb the grass bank all the way up, maybe over a fence. We found your exhaust over here, mate. So we're very glad to be of assistance and be able to find the exhaust for the competitors, show them where they are on the feed, get a marshal to kind of play hot potato with it, and then you can go and pick it up after us. Glad to be of service. Right, let's take a look at the incident from turn 1 of the last race. Take a look at this. So on the way in, look, Mandy August here. So Barbosa's picked up understeer, and Mandy's done a good job to rotate the car in the middle, Dan.
Yeah, so Barbosa not able to get the rotation on the car. Mandy shot herself up the inside, and then just as she was sliding, they made contact, and I think they've just hooked each other up, and Mandy rotated.
She got on the gas early there, which is fine, but unfortunately the car then has slid wide, and once she's hit him and that's then rotated her into the wall, she then can't do anything, can she?
No, you can see she's got some steering lock on as she's heading for the wall, but she can't get out of it.
And this was Mario Barbosa on the wall. Oh, he's very pleased indeed. So is that the world's most sarcastic clap? But that's what you have to do, Dan. And to be fair, that's slightly more polite than some of the hand gestures we see between the drivers after an incident like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more polite than some of the ones I may have conjured up at the time.
There we are. Yeah, Steve Arpin was the master of the hand waving last year when we were at Kota. If you remember, him and Liam Doran had a bit of an argument, and there were hand gestures through the tiny slider window on the side. There's only so much you can do, isn't there? When you can only get one hand out of the side window of your rallycross car, you're limited as to what sign language you can use. So there's a couple of international ones which work a treat. Arpin wielded one of them, but I have to say, Mario Barbosa, or Bert Barbosa as he is now known, was extremely polite there with his gesturing. So Mario, thank you for that. You're a gentleman. Right, next cars are lining up on the grid. We've got 5 in this one. Alexander Wahl coming around. We saw Wahl yesterday this morning. Me and Dan were standing at the bottom and we saw a mega sideways Joker lap from Wahl, really getting some confidence back in his driving. Dan Rooker's just spotted on the timing screens that Supercar Euro Q3, car 38, car 75, contact under investigation. And you can imagine who that is. It is Mandy August and Mario Barbosa. So they'll be heading up to the stewards and they'll have to make a more definitive decision than me and Dan Brooks do. Here's your lineup then. Euro RX Q3 Race 3. Peter Hedström, Andrea de Borg, Tamas Karai, Alexander Wahl and Rennie Munich. So Karai didn't finish practice this morning. We didn't see why, but we saw him driving back to the paddock from the Joker lap. We think he might have got beached on the curbs on the inside. Alexander Wahl next to him did this mega sideways Joker off the start. So we might have seen him go there, but Wahl's lost the start. So is he going to go Joker? He does. So watch Wahl in the Joker. No, not able to do it because Hedström's gone Joker inside him. So that's not a bad thing, though. We know Hedström and Wahl are very fast. Karai leads Andrea de Borg, who was on a mission yesterday in Munich too. So we've actually got 5 really quick guys in this, Dan. I think the top 10 in Euro is super competitive.
Yeah, it's definitely getting closer and closer, and we saw Karai take a a session win in Silverstone, so it just shows the level that this heat race is at. But Hedström going for the Joker lap, I was quite surprised about that.
Yeah, that's what he's done. He's gone Joker, giving himself some space. Maybe thought there was going to be carnage in turn one. He wasn't very happy yesterday when he had some contact, made his feelings clear in the interview afterwards. And I must say thank you to Peter, because he was very apologetic about it. He said it was a bit of heat to the moment, so well done to Peter as well. Andrea de Boer goes Joker, trying to hold his position, but Hedström's got him. Where's he going to merge in the dust? Contact between him and Val. Val's going to get on the gas and try and come back, but he can't, so de Boer goes up the inside and he's right on the back of Hedström now that the car's wild on the brakes down at the hairpin. So de Boer tried to hold position and just managed to hold on to that one place. So it's going to be close for Karai and Munich. I wouldn't be surprised to see them respond on this one as well, Dan.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to see the pair of them go in, although Hedström seems to be far enough back from Karai, although I think we will see Munich go in. Karai's gone in now as well. Munich hasn't, so
Munich's got to hope that there's a bit of carnage with Karai. He will be hoping he has some contact at the merge. Karai's going to get out in front. Great tactics. So Thomas Karai in front of Hedström. Hedström's got de Boer all over him, and Val would love to find a way back past de Boer after a bit of contact. We couldn't see it from the dust at the merge. It is a high-speed, super committed merge there. I wonder if Val just gave de Boer a little tap on the way into the hairpin. But Karai leading the four who've jokered. We're just waiting on Munich. At the minute, the gap was 2.7, and I think that'll see Munich come out. Where do you reckon, Dan? Probably between de Boer and Val, looking at it.
Yeah, I think between de Boer and Val, it just depends if they get in a fight and if Munich has a good Joker.
Here we go then, Munich on the exit of the Joker. Watch for the merge, 4 into 1. He's got to find a space. Munich's done a great job. Munich gets P2. That must have been a great lap. Looking at the gap on the previous lap, there was no way he was coming in second.
Yeah, so it must have been an absolutely fantastic final sector to get himself in there, and his Joker lap we could see was very smooth and clean, getting himself a good exit, and well, he just found himself a hole, no contact at all going into turn 2.
Brilliant drive, Rennie Munich. I have to say, we said it yesterday, Rennie Munich doing a great job this season. Definitely going to step up for me in terms of his performance. We know the car's good and it's pretty new, but Karai taking this one. Rennie Munich gets P2. Karai goes fastest by 2.3, nearly 2.4 seconds. So Thomas Karai goes to the top of the standings, and I have a feeling a few of those guys are going to head up there. Here we go, we'll take a look. So Karai, Munich, Hedström, de Boer and Val, where do they slot in? Straight to the top of the table. Ikonen only managing to beat Val. Everybody else goes in at the top. We've got 5 cars to come, but I say it is super tight. Look at those times there between P2 and P4 is 9/10 of a second in it. And I think we've got about 10 guys here on that pace. The semi-finals later on are going to be fire, so make sure you stay with us. Off the line, look for Hedström. You were quite surprised, weren't you, that he went Joker from the inside, Dan? Do you think he braked too late and had to change his mind?
Yeah, it looked like he got on the brakes for the standard lap. You can see there, but then gone, oh no, I braked too late, and had to shoot on again. But yeah, to go from pole position and having, pretty much won the start, it was a bit of a shocker to see him go in there.
Unless he was watching his mirrors and thought he was going to get collected, but either way, changed his mind. This was the contact between de Boer and Val, which is pretty much in the dust. They were side by side though, and I would say I think de Boer was one wheel in front of Val, so fair enough. In theory, you have to give way to the main lap day, but that's not how it works when the Joker's on the inside of the next corner. It's within reason. If you're going to both retire as a result of the contact, you should give way to the main lap, shouldn't you?
Yeah, but you rely heavily on your spotters at this track because it is quite blind, especially if they're as close as they are there. They can't see them coming from the right-hand side.
Relying heavily on the spotters for the merge and relying heavily on the sponsors should you get it wrong, basically. So it's Karai who takes this one. He's at the top of the table, and we've got 1 race left to come in Euro RX Q3. So there's a sign just to the right there, underneath those lads. You can see Johan, please come back, which I'm assuming is Johan Kristoffersson.
Yeah, I think so. I know the guys that have made that sign. They're a couple of Polish lads racing the British Championship and massive Johan fans.
Well, there you go, Johan. We keep asking when you're going to come and have another go. It's a bit busy at the minute with WTCR. A couple of messages with Johan the other week. I think he's working very hard to make sure they can get the best out of the car. I think they've got a new machine coming potentially next year, so I think Johan's going to be sticking with WTCR for a while. We would welcome him back here any time. Q3 race 4, Euro RX. Robin Larsson on the inside, then it's Brindersen, JB Dubourg, Sondre Evjen and Pontus Tiedemann. So second, first, fourth. JB's in, Tiedemann's fifth, Evjen is third, yes, so at the minute these guys have finished. I think they've been the top 5 all weekend. Yes, they have. So these guys finished in a different order. Top 5 in both the previous sessions. Brindersen won Q1, Larsson won Q2. This is going to be spectacular. Here we go. You can hear the wheels spin, but on the outside, Tiedemann has got the best start, and the Beetle moves across, going to shut the door. Is he on Brindersen? Tiedemann with a mega start in the Ekman Run Beetle. Goes Joker. Brindersen's on the inside of Evjen. Side-by-side, Evjen's now got the inside line of the braking zone to turn 2. Evjen going to hold on, surely Tiedemann's going to send the Beetle on the handbrake, get it turned in. Brindersen gets P3, so Tiedemann wins the start in the Beetle. Brilliant.
Yeah, awesome start there by Tiedemann. Maybe a little bit more grip on P5, I mean, I'm not too sure, but and then sensible stuff from both Evjen and Brindersen in the Joker lap there. We could have easily seen them making lots of contact and damaging each other's hopes into turn 2, but they gave each other the room, and now they're able to carry on.
Super clean start as well by Tiedemann. Larsson and Dubourg out on the standard lap. Are they going to go? They do. They stay standard lap. So their spotters comfortable that they'll be able to outpace Tiedemann. Tiedemann said to me in the hotel yesterday, I'm just here for fun. I'm absolutely loving it. No pressure. It's not a career move as such, although he would have a hell of a career in rallycross. The experience he had with EKS. Of course, EKS made their debut here in 14, I think it was.
Yeah, I think so. Didn't they have to fly an engine in with a helicopter or something? Did I see something about
something
that?
mad like that. Yeah, we've had some mega stories over the years, but yeah, it was great to see them, of course, with their groundbreaking team, and EKS were still with cars out here, and one of them leading that race now. 16 World Championship title winning car, Matthias Ekstrom in the hands of Robin Larsson. And Robin, some of the jokers he's been doing down have been spectacular.
Yeah, Robin has some of the best car control we've seen out of all of the drivers all weekend.
I wanted to talk to you because you spoke, didn't you, to David Mansfield, who is one of the spotters for GCK, and he was saying, you asked him about the Joker.
Yeah, so I said to him, what is the best method? Is it easier to drive in straight and rotate on the handbrake and drive out again, or do you go Robin Larsson full send mode and go for it? And he said, if you're Robin Larsson and you can nail it every time, that's the quickest way. He said, but in terms of the risk attached to it, then it's a better option to, as we're going to see Robin now.
Oh, he's gone Larsson style, and that is what you do when you know you can nail it every time. What a weapon. Larsson around the Joker. Dubourg makes it out in front of Tiedemann as well, so great tactics from those guys, and Dan, spot on timing with the explanation, mate.
Yeah, perfect there, wasn't it? But of course the thing with the entry as well is he said you've got to make sure you're in the middle of the track, not the outside. Outside slower, middle is faster.
So Larsson with another fantastic, spectacular Joker. Comes through the left-hander, now through the final right, aiming for 245.8. He's going to get it easily up and over the line. Larsson's going to take another session. He does indeed, 244, 1.6 seconds faster. Robin Larsson wins Q3. That's his second qualifying win of the weekend. Just have to see with the points where that puts him compared to Brindersen's P5, so he's going to go TQ. So Larsson's going to move up from second place to TQ after Q3. There's his win. Dubourg, Tiedemann, Evjen and Brindersen rounding out that final race. You can see Dubourg looking Larsson, who went out on their own for 5 laps, coming in ahead of Karai. Karai doing another great job. Rennie Munich, look, P6, fantastic. Tiedemann in the Beetle up in 4th place. Great advert for Per Ekman and that fantastic car he built. Hopefully we'll see some more people in it, or maybe Pontus a few more times. Love to see him back for a few more. But Larsson has won another session and moves up to top qualify with 1 session to go.
Robin, well done. The guys in commentary, Dan and Andrew, loving your Joker style. They're very much enjoying how you take on the Joker lap. How difficult is that to execute? You're making it look easy.
Yeah, the Joker is pretty easy. Just flat and handbrake. It was on the track. It was really difficult. This qualification is so slippery, both on the tarmac and down in the gravel. I did big mistakes here and there, and I felt like the board catched me all the time. So I was trying to focus that last lap and that Joker lap and put it together. So it was good, but we have something to work on. More to work on for Q4. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Larson feeling he's got something to work on. I think everyone else in the field hoping he hasn't got anything else to find. I mean, he's really going ever so well. Tiedemann, that is a brilliant start by him. Great reaction, then the car finding traction and power through. Brinderson getting up underneath Evjen on the way out of the Joker, but Evjen having the inside line into the next corner. Sondre Evjen doing a great job here as well. Really impressed this weekend. Didn't go their way at Silverstone, but seems to be much better for him in the Christopherson team this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is a track he's more familiar with, but let's not forget this is his first season in a supercar. Yeah. And, you know, he's sticking it up in the top 5, so...
Impressive stuff. Not easy to do. Double the power of an RX2 car, and he's using it to great effect. The man who's used it to the most effect, though, is Robin Larson, and you could see with that win in Q3 and the fact that Brinderson, I'm afraid, was P5 in his race and dropped a little way further down, you can see there's a 10-point gap on the right-hand side now. Remember, that's qualification points, not championship points. That's just how we decide the order. But I think Larson there, barring a disaster in Q4, has pretty much secured the TQ spot, so that's great for him. Brinderson P2, JB de Borg, Sondre Evjen up in 4th, fantastic. Tiedemann 5th, Karai 6th, Hegstrom 7th, Andrea de Borg in 8th, Munich 9th, Alexander Wahl in 10th, Ikonen and Walfridsson are 11th and 12th. So got a few people. We got 9. Yeah, and I think to be honest with you, I think the top 12 are secure. But there's a session to go, and we've seen what can happen in turn 1. So that is the best place to watch Larson from, and we're pretty lucky. That's pretty. That's amazing. Where is that? It's just underneath that commentary position. I love it. For those guys sitting up there, they've got high vises on and clipboards, so I think they're important. Dan, what do you think?
I mean, anyone with a high vis generally tends to be important.
Definitely.
We're obviously not qualified enough for a high vis, Andrew.
No, I don't have a clipboard either. I've got some paperwork and a pen, but those guys, they had a clipboard, so... So there we are. Those guys are just sitting over there. We need high vises and clipboards to make ourselves more important than we are, but we're having fun up here anyway. We've got a very similar view to them. We did have, well, we thought we had kind of a dust-proof commentary box, but literally there's a layer of dust over everything in here, which I know you guys can't see at home, but really looking forward to this. We're going to head into World Rallycross, so let's head down to the grid and we can have a look. There's our spotters tower. You can see us right at this end here. There we are. How we doing, guys? All good? Bit of paperwork stuck up there. See, this is where we need a clipboard. Look here. A couple of the spotters waving as well. So that's Ollie Bennett's crew, and they're down on the grid because, of course, Ollie is down there too. Right, let's go then with Q3 for World RX. Take a look at the grid for race 1. Well, don't worry, we'll look at it in a minute. It's absolutely fine. I can tell you who's on there anyway, and I'm sure we'll have a graphic lined up for you in just a few seconds. Monster Energy girls are down there and good to go. There's Baciuska. Went really well in Q1. Unfortunately, had a retirement in Q2. First outing with GCK. We've got Kevin Abbring in there as well, who was absolutely flying in one of his sessions. Q1, I think it was, wasn't he? Abbring was right up there. Where is he at the minute? Kevin Abbring is actually sitting in P9, so he was 5th in Q1 and then 16th in Q2. Up against Ollie Bennett on the inside. So Bennett, Abbring and Baciuska. Great start in the middle by Abbring, hooks it right up. Bennett, though, we know, has got a super quick engine on the run to turn 1. Abbring goes on the anchors, goes standard lap, and Baciuska's gone around the outside. Baciuska in the 001 chassis, that's the ProDrive built machine. It's actually still running the ProDrive engine at Dam. It's only just back from a rebuild. He's come off the Joker lap now and he's going to be chasing those guys down. You just saw him come into your shot. Abbring, of course, was the development driver for ES Motorsport, though he said he didn't do anywhere nearly the amount of mileage social media made it look like. So a very good job by their social media team, but we know they did a fair bit of development over the winter, and it was Abbring behind the wheel. He's a great development driver, involved, of course, in the development of the Polo that was so dominant in World Rally and World Rallycross.
Yeah, so fantastic to have for ES to have a driver with so much pedigree, I guess, if you like, on their team and driving their car. And well, this is his first appearance in World Rallycross, and well, he seems to be getting on quite all right, doesn't he?
He does seem to be getting on very well indeed. You noted yesterday, it's a strange engine note, isn't it, when they're off throttle on that, which I heard in the joke was, well, I actually thought he had a misfire the first time he came through.
Yeah, I think I noticed it in Abu Dhabi. It's sort of when he's on part throttle, the car sounds like it's misfiring. So maybe to help with traction if you're on part throttle, because there's so much power in these cars, they spin up all 4 wheels. So, I mean, I'm no engineer, but that's sort of a bit of an explanation I can come up with. We'll see if we can hear it as he comes through here now.
You can hear that flat sort of noise do there. Now someone else who's flat is Baciuska. Flat out and now will want to try and find a way past Bennett. So Bennett made the semi-finals at Silverstone, but I have to be honest, Ollie hasn't looked quite so at home here, has he, Dan? I know he's got more experience than Silverstone track. He came here last year and you said it's a hard track. Ollie said to me this is a hard track, but Baciuska's right behind him now and we'll be looking for a bit of space.
Yeah, so Ollie, I think yesterday when I spoke to the team, he had a fresh air pipe come off the turbo, he told me, so his anti-lag wasn't quite working, but it still doesn't quite seem to be getting in the rhythm of it. I think the dust unsettles him a little bit as they come around the loose back section.
Bring into the Joker, he's tidy on the inside, it's sideways but tidy. He's going to come out, look just in front of Baciuska, so actually Bennett's done a pretty well. No, Bennett's gone Joker as he says, he's lost out, but Baciuska, I reckon, could have got past Abring if he hadn't been up behind Bennett.
Yeah, so Baciuska here making a really good debut of the Renault Megane. Such a completely different car to the car he was driving, which is now in front of him. So
it's going to be annoying, isn't it? That's not what you want. You want to come out in front of that one, don't you? Abring is just in front. Abring, as I say, was due to join the team in a second car, but they're going to be with us for the rest of the season. I had a good chat with them yesterday. Abring's in for Hollius as well. He's in for a surprise when he gets to Hollius. If you go down to the woods today, you're in for a big surprise if it's the woods at Hollius. My goodness me. So I'm looking forward to introducing Kevin to the madness of the Magic Weekend. He's taken the win from Baciuska. Baciuska, of course, also will be new. No, did Baciuska come there last year? Would have been there with Super 1600. So Baciuska's been to Hollius before. He'll be aware. But 0.5 behind, and I wonder if he might have managed to take that, which he would have liked to have done and beaten his old car. Bennett behind those guys. Let's see, 2:43.0. Yesterday, winning times were around the 2:40 marks. It's a good time. It is a good time. Kevin Abring is with Laura now.
I won't hear you.
Well, Kevin, just getting his helmet off, he says he won't hear me otherwise, and often that is an issue with drivers down here. It is noisy as they just come off the track. There we go. Kevin, you had a brilliant Q1 in this, your first Rallycross Championship. Tricky Q2. How does that one rate? A win here again?
I normally only listen to my spotter, so it has nothing to do with you. So really unfortunate Q2. I mean, we took P2 and then I couldn't shift up, so Timmy went past and then we blew the turbo pipe. Long story short, today in Q3 I had to do it, and it felt good to have my first hits, because I was expecting, okay, when do they come, and it actually what makes the sport great, obviously, if it's fair play, and I think we managed well. We had a great start, took the lead, and then pushed all the way till the end, and it felt good.
Yeah, and your first race win as well. Well done. Thank you very much.
Kevin Abring really happy with his result. That would have been good enough for P7 yesterday in Q2. Got the whole shot, and then Dan, really good to be sensible enough to anchor up, avoid all the contact on the way through, and he's loving, isn't he, the fact, where are they? That's the thing, isn't it, with Rallycross?
Yeah, I loved hearing his interview then. He just said, I loved getting my first hit, which of course you don't normally do in rallying.
Yeah.
So, but he is doing an impressive job and got very good awareness considering he hasn't been in the racing field.
Well done, Kevin Abring. First qualifying heat race win for him in World RX.
Difference between rally. It's very different.
Got our four cars on the grid. Got our huge crowd in the background.
The stage also. Of course,
and we are getting ready to go with these guys.
But I mean, I'm taking it in step by step. But
right, let's take a look then at the grid for race 2.
It all feels natural somehow.
Guillaume de Ridder and Gulan Schistrit Academy and GCK respectively. Liam Doran and Yanni Parson. And Doran's gone with new boots because he needs a good result here. At the minute, Liam is down in P12. We know the car's capable of good times. Bakker's been up in second, but then Bakker was down in 10th as well. So really mixed results for the World RX front runners, and Liam looking to move up the order with those new tyres.
Thank you very much.
Got to get a good start. Schistrit in the Megane will be looking for the same. De Ridder's had rotten luck this season. Good start, all three cars on the inside. Doran's got a great start too, though. Schistrit going to go Joker with Doran. Doran goes Joker, Schistrit goes standard lap. So Liam's got exactly what he wants there. De Ridder with a last-minute decision to go Joker. Liam, spectacular through the Joker.
Yeah, and Shisha running wide on the standard lap and then losing out to Parsonen there. So that's really going to be damaging Shisha's chances here at the minute, especially when Liam's gone into the Joker and he's out already. And you can see him coming into that bottom hairpin just as they were exiting. I think Liam is on a big push here now, especially with new boots.
He's got to get it done, hasn't he? So Liam Doran needs a great run here. His car control is without question. I sometimes wonder if the Audi quite suits him yet, if he could maybe do with dialing it into his driving style. You know, if you look at Larson, I kind of feel like Larson and Liam have got similar driving styles. Shisha has gone Joker under the commentary position there. You guys can see at home now. But Liam's going to get him pretty easily. So Doran now in a position to chase down Parson. I think Parson's quick enough that he's not going to get in Liam's way, even if he chooses to wait until the last lap.
No, so there's enough of a gap there now. So 3.4 seconds after one lap has passed, well, 1.5 laps. So Parson isn't going to hold Liam up too much. The only problem will be dust.
Yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of dust. It was here, wasn't it, yesterday? The worst of the dust was. You can definitely see some bumps there. People are starting to adjust their line. We have seen people push tyres off rims before going over that crest sideways. Now I think we're starting to see people take the straight-on approach, you know, without using too much lock. So Parson goes standard lap again. Doran needs to close that gap down a bit. He doesn't want a tight merge with Parsonen. At the minute, it would go the way of Doran, but only by 0.2 of a second.
Parsonen actually set a faster lap than Liam on that last lap by 0.2 of a second, so maybe Liam's not quite able to hook it up the way he was on lap 1.
Shisha is right with Liam Doran as well, so Parsonen out front in the second start machine. Baumanis had a good run yesterday in Q2 after a disaster in Q1. Parsonen with a big old four-wheel drift. Going to go Joker now. What's the gap? It's 3.5 as they cross the line, 3.4. So Parsonen losing time to Liam on the last lap. Liam Doran and Shisha, watch for the merge. Going to be close between Shisha and Parsonen. Parsonen up the inside. Oh, he's on the bar, round. Fantastic merge from Parsonen, but he then loses it on the exit. Shisha, it's got him. Parsonen, look, he's absolutely broadside everywhere. Get in. Full send. Derrida's going to have a look now. Oh, it's a shame, because I do like full send, but you can see there it hasn't worked out. But he did brilliantly as he came into the merge. He went super deep on the brakes to ensure that he got the space, used the handbrake to hold it, unfortunately ran wide. Doran takes it from Shisha, Derrida and Parsonen dropping from P1 to P4 on the last lap, but Doran is 1.9 seconds slower than Kevin Abbring. So Liam Doran loses out in terms of lap time there. We'll have to take a look. 2:45.007. Shisha, Derrida and Parsonen completing it. Let's see where they slot in. So Liam goes P3 at the minute. Abbring and Baciuska are ahead of him. I wonder what he thinks of that.
Liam, a bit more like it in that one, coming out on top. Lost a little bit of time though. How did you rate it?
Yeah, not good at all. It was nice to have a little bit of fresh air and not have cars in front of me. I'm struggling this weekend with set up a little bit and finding the speed, but that should be a decent enough time, you know, for clean enough laps. It won't have been fast enough to go top, but it was far better than yesterday where I was just having problems all day, so I can work from there on the next one.
Hopefully better again in Q4. Thank you, well done.
Take another look at this one. So Liam from slot number 3, equal on the start with Shisha. If Shisha had gone Joker with him, he'd have had to give him space, but Lustin won't he dive on the brakes, and he'd see Shisha lose out in turn 1. And when that car drops back down, you know you're clear for the Joker on your own.
Yeah, so it's a good sight for Liam to see, knowing that he's going to be going into the Joker on his own.
Parsonen left out front after Shisha Jokered on lap 2. Shisha was close to Doran here. So Liam didn't really look to be that out of sorts on the track, but you know, he doesn't just, well, you could tell from his reaction at the end himself, he's not super comfortable. This was Parsons' Joker. Now watch this, because he goes really hard on the gas, really late on the brakes. It guarantees the spot now, but he knows he's deep on the handbrake early. That is a great bit of car control, but unfortunately, Shisha gets up underneath him. He loses the place there, and sideways again loses another place at the bottom of the hill. So what do you think about Doran?
I mean, I'm not too sure. I mean, we couldn't see any mistakes from him there, but we know he likes his track. I know he's had some really good results here in the past, so maybe just not quite got the car there with him. I mean, it was probably a bit more set up for the likes of Matthias Ekstrom's driving style.
It's interesting, though, is it, when you look at Larson, as I say, I know the two cars are different years, but we know that Larson's 16 car has some upgrades from 17, 18, even 19 on it. They're all on the new KYB dampers, I think, or certainly Liam and Andreas are. I know you kind of feel like Larson and Liam have very similar driving styles, but somehow it's not working. The car's not working for Liam at the minute.
No, so I mean, I know the two guys are in different teams, but I'm sure they do share information. So it might be worth those two having a bit of a conversation before Q4 and see if Liam can figure out something he likes.
Backer at the last of the cars to pull up to the line, so we know there's a certain section of this crowd that are going to be very interested indeed with what goes on in this encounter. Right then, let's take a look at the grid for Q3 Race 3. Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen on the inside, side by side. Cyril Raymond, Christian Sabo and Andreas Backerud. New boots for Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen. Neither of them having a great weekend by their standards. 5th for Timmy and it's 7th for Kevin. Backerud taking a couple of new tyres as well. If you had to put money on, well, Timmy and Kevin will do one or two things, either split the strategy or go line astern in turn 1, but let's have a look and see. Got to win the start first. Backerud with a better start than Sabo on the outside, but very even across the grid. Cyril Raymond in there too. Kevin Hansen goes Joker. Timmy Hansen goes standard lap. Pretty much what we expected. Backerud going to try and get underneath Kevin on the exit. Gets into his door, but Kevin Hansen has beaten Backerud down into the second corner, and Backerud is behind him, so that's not what Andreas wanted.
No, not what Andreas wanted at all, but I'm sure, as we all expected, Kevin going for the Joker lap, just to give Timmy that little bit of extra room as well, and splitting the strategy. They're now going to be racing against each other on the clock.
Safest thing to do, though, absolutely. You know, if there's contact in one part of the lap or the other, you don't lose both cars in terms of the timesheets. Timmy Hansen not having a great day yesterday, just didn't go his way, didn't get clear track. We know Timmy loves a bit of clear track, and this now is the time for him to show he's got the pace that he's had all year.
Yeah, so not a good day for him yesterday. Contact with Balmanis and then not the clear track, like you say. But, I mean, it's fair to say the track might not be fully clear now. You can see there's a massive dust cloud lingering on the exit of turn 1 into turn 2, so they're going to be struggling to spot their braking points as they drop down the hill.
So Raymond with a tiny nudge from Sabo. You ride on board with Sabo now as we come up the hill. Stay on the right, then look on the brakes, flick it in left. Look at the dust, look at the barrier. Did Raymond clip the barrier on the way in? It was super tight into that last corner, feeding the power on. It's just spectacular stuff. Cyril Raymond doing a brilliant job, as always, in the GCK. Cleo Sabo up the inside. Contact between them. Great attempt by Sabo, but didn't make it work. Cyril Raymond is sideways on the way down to the next one. Sabo going to look up the inside, can't find a way through. Meanwhile, Timmy Hansen has done the Edox fastest lap of the day. So Sabo is frustrated here. He can't find a way through there. On board again. Looks to the side. He's like, come on, out of the way, Cyril. Cyril Raymond holding onto the position beautifully.
Yeah, Cyril just a little bit too sideways there, of course, but fully blocked. Kevin Hansen now on the back of them, so this is going to be holding Kevin Hansen up. And meanwhile, Timmy Hansen's already pulled a gap to Cyril, who's still yet to take the Joker.
Here we go then. Timmy Hansen about to head into the Joker. The other guy's going to Joker too. Timmy Hansen goes sideways style. Another fastest lap of the day, 38.4. 2 in a row. Hansen is laying it down as we head into day 2 for World RX. Kevin Hansen comes through for P2. Cyril Raymond and Christian Sabo cost themselves too much time.
Yeah, far too much time. You can just see how far they've dropped off the back, and cool weather held up Kevin and Andreas there as well. So not a fantastic race for the two at the back.
On board with Backerud, up the hill into that left-hander. You can see those two Peugeots in front of him. What's Timmy Hansen going to do this time with the clocks? The Peugeot jumps over the line to take the win. He goes faster than Ambring by 2 seconds. It's a 2:43.0. But that would not have been enough yesterday, not by a long way. So Gronholm yesterday was doing 2:39s and 2:40s. Timmy with a 2:43 was the time of the previous leader. So Hansen's done a 2:41. Okay, that's much more like it, but still a second to find to match the pace of the GRX cars. So we'll have to see. Of course, we don't know track conditions. I think the track, maybe Dan said, the dust maybe it's a little bit slower today. But Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen with a great recovery. Timmy takes the win and at the minute tops the standings in Q3 with a great time.
Timmy, that's a bit more like it. I know you were very frustrated yesterday with your performances in Q1 and Q2, despite picking up a race win. You had a very clinical race out in front. There was all sorts of carnage behind. How happy are you with that?
I'm so happy. We've got the car perfectly dialed in now. It is a difficult track. It's different in the setup, but we are there. The run felt amazing. All 4 laps were spot on. Just fine-tuning with the last few hundreds on the lap time, and yeah, this was one of those brilliant runs that I'm super happy about, and I really hope it's enough now to beat Grönholm.
Thank you very much, Timmy. Best of luck, Q4.
Thank you.
So Timmy Hansen, Kevin Hansen off the line, splitting the strategy. We had a feeling they'd do that. You can see how much room they've given themselves. Sabo here losing out in the first week. See Bakkerud going Joker, and Bakkerud actually would have done a decent time there as well, Dan. I think he's gone P5 as it stands at the minute. So is it enough?
I mean, you'd like to think for Timmy's sake it is, but we saw the GCK boys were on fire. The GRX boys were on fire in warm-up this morning, and I really want to see what they got to do. This is the attempted pass from Szabo, but for me, I think Szabo should have just tried to go to the Joker. It wasn't worth trying to pass on track.
No, just go there on that lap instead. I mean, it's nice to see that you can make a pass or at least attempt a pass in turn 1, but it cost them both times. So Timmy Hansen has done a time of 2:41.0. Will it be enough to win Q3? One race left to go. This morning we saw Timozyanov go 5/10 quicker than anyone in warm-up. Now it's only 2 laps, it's not that representative, no one's going to risk it. You don't win anything by winning warm-up, but we know how fast those cars were yesterday. Grönholm and Timozyanov were P1 and P2 overnight. So it's going to be fascinating to see whether or not they've got the pace to take on Hansen. Here we go then, the final race of Q3. Let's see the lineup for race 4. Niklas Grönholm on the inside with Timo Scheider next to him. Then it's Timozyanov, Janis Baumanis and Anton Markland. Nobody's taken new tyres in this. At the minute, they're all inside. Janis Baumanis is the lowest placed driver in 10th, having had his issues in Q1 yesterday with the DNF, but a brilliant drive to take 4th in the next session. Markland is up there in 6th place. He's had an 8th and a 5th, so we know he's got good pace. We know this track seems to suit the car, but it's Timozyanov and Grönholm who we're looking to see how quick they can go. Marshall's leaving the grid now, but I think we're about to get this one underway. There's the view of Markland and Markland's view of the lights. Ready to race, here we go. So even across the grid, Scheider got a good start on the inside. Timozyanov going to go in front, contact between him. Grönholm takes the standard lap, Timozyanov goes Joker. GRX doing exactly what they did yesterday, and for me this has played into massively into Tim's hands.
Yeah, Timozyanov's going to be rubbing his hands together here now. He just has to put his foot down and try and catch back up to the guys here. 4 of them gone standard lap. You can just see how much of a traffic jam it looks, especially these tight corners. They all go the concertina effect, backing each other up, and Timozyanov can just hammer it.
There's a bit of me here that thinks Grönholm out front, obviously he's in the same place as Timmer. He's got clear track in front of him, but he knows Timmer went Joker on his own. If you GRX, do you now Joker Grönholm to protect from your own teammate? Or go, don't worry about it, he's our teammate. It's a tough decision. Oh, smoke from the rear of Grönholm's car. So there's smoke from the contact. They must be on the way into turn 1. Markland goes Joker, but Timozyanov is miles in front of him already.
You can see Timozyanov is already on the back of the train from the guys there, so he is really putting the hammer down. Hopefully the smoke off Grönholm's car isn't going to cause a puncture. I'd imagine it's just bodywork rubbing against the tyre, but...
it's a fair bit of smoke though, isn't it? You see just a little bit, but not so much here. You'll see it on the braking zone into turn 1 the most. Grönholm up and over that crest into the right-hander. Scheider's right with him. Timo Scheider had a fantastic yesterday, 6th and 2nd. But we're all looking at Timozyanov. We're going to have a look at his lap times and see whether or not he's on the same pace as Hansen, because we don't know how quick this track is. Timozyanov In the standard lap, Baumanis has got Joker, and Timmer is miles in front of him as well. Baumanis going to come out, where is he? Alongside Markland, inside Markland, just behind him. So Markland holds on at the minute. Timmer's going to come out a second in front of Niklas.
Yeah, so he looks like he's going to be on to win the race here, but his lap time indicates his fastest lap was 4 tenths off the back of Timmy Hansen. Of course, still 2 more laps to go, but he's currently not quite on the pace of Timmy.
Well, Timmy Hansen said, didn't he, after his race, that felt like one of those perfect runs. We weren't sure because Niklas had gone a second quicker on both his runs yesterday, but of course that was yesterday. Track conditions today are different. Gronholm goes Joker. Scheider goes in as well. Look for Timmer on the inside. Timozyanov's going to take this, surely. The teammates won't have contact in turn 2. They don't, says Timozyanov from Gronholm. Now they're chasing just the clock.
Yeah, so the clock is ticking away for Timozyanov, and he put in a 39.2 the last lap, so not a good lap at all from Timozyanov on the last run. But we're going to watch now and see what happens.
So 2:41.084. Timozyanov chasing down Hansen's time. It's looking good for Timmy. What's the Russian got through the last turn? Gronholm is right with him. Up to the line, Timmy Hansen's got it. So they can't match the time. Timozyanov is slower, goes third. So in fact, it's going to be a 1-2 then for the Hansen brothers. Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen going quickest in this session. And Timmy's assessment of it being a perfect run was absolutely bang on, because that was a decent run by Timozyanov, but the time is not there. So Timmer, 2:42.6. Then it's Niklas Gronholm with a 2:43.1. Markland, Scheider and Baumanis. Let's see where these guys slot in. And you can see there, so Timozyanov goes into P3. Timmy Hansen wins Q3. Kevin is second, and my goodness me, we've got a fight in hands. Look at Kevin Abring up in P4. So going to see what happens to the standings here. I think Niklas is going to hold on to the TQ spot, but stay with us and we'll bring you the standings. Here's Timmy Hansen.
Timmer, a shake of the head there and a slight frown on your face. What do you make of that?
Yeah, actually that was a good run with a lot of mistakes on the track. I can say that it was not so clean. I don't know how far we are from the first place, but yeah, it should be better. I have a chance to be in front of all the grid, but I done some mistakes by myself. That is not clear. That is not clean for the driver's side.
Okay, better luck for Q4. Thanks.
Timozyanov not over the moon with his run. Said he made some mistakes by himself, and Dan, he'd be disappointed when he to go to the Joker on your own. You know, you just, well, it's a bit gutting, isn't it, when you don't get it done? He had a clear track. I'm guessing he was coming in thinking, yes, I've got it.
Yeah, so it is annoying having those mistakes, but I mean, maybe dust could have played a part in it. We could see how much was being kicked up there, and well, there's still a bit lingering around in our comms box. It's that dusty out there, so it is a distraction. It does like throw you off of your braking points and so on. So that could have been maybe a slight issue for him, but it is frustrating, especially when you had a clear track.
This was Baumanis with a super sideways Joker, but the squabbling on the first lap had basically cost 3 of the 4 drivers plenty of time. That meant that Niklas was able to come out clearly behind his teammate Gronholm. Sorry, Gronholm behind his teammate Timozyanov. Look at that, tidily done. And no contest behind them, really. So these guys all on the pace, expect them to be in the mix, but the Hansens done a great job in Q3, and Timozyanov with a couple of mistakes. Right, let's take a look at the standings at the end of Q3. Niklas Gronholm is still on the TQ spot. It's Timmy Hansen, though, that moves up to P2, demoting Timozyanov by 1 place. You can still see Gronholm has a decent lead at the top of the standings, but Timozyanov and Timmy Hansen only 2 points apart. So going to come down to Q4 as to who's going to take second and pole in Semi-2. 2 of the Hyundais look at P1 and P3. Then it's Scheider in P4. Kevin Hansen is up to P5, backwards down in P6. Markland, Kevin Abring is 8th, fantastic on his debut in World Rallycross. Bachuska's into the top 12. Liam Doran is in 10th. It's Cyril Raymond and Janis Baumanis down in 12th. So Sabo, look, at the minute is outside the top 12, and he's really going to want to make a move on that. Woo! Right, there we are. So an interesting session at the end. The final race, they're not as clean as we sometimes see from the guys who are in that one normally know to avoid each other.
Yeah, and I think the problem was there that 4 guys went to the standard lap, so they're all going to be hustling with each other. It is a tight couple of corners on the first part of this lap, so when the first guy breaks, of course, it just backs the rest of them up, and the squabbling then begins.
Right, okay, well, good stuff. We've got one more session still to come. Hyundai, where are they? P1 and P3 at the minute. Timosiano's going to want to take that place off Timmy. Timmy's going to want to hold on to it. I think Gronholm's going to get the TQ, but anything can happen. So it's not long to go before Q4, so 10:50 Central European time. Come back just then and we're going to find out who's going to take TQ at round 5. Until then, see you later.